And I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm in the white. And he reaches for a flag and he looks back. He sees it's me. He shakes his head at me and just keeps going, didn't throw a flag on the play. And all I could think about until we watched game film 24 hours later was, what is Bill going to say to me? Bill's going to say, he saw it.
We found this iconic photo that you posted on Facebook talking about quarterbacks, and Belichick's there as well. And you were on the Patriots. What year was it? 87 and 2005, I think?
Yeah, that was my last year back in 2005. Yeah. I was with the Patriots in the late 80s for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's funny because we have
look at that. Look at he's
one
looking
of
right
those,
at you guys. Yeah.
I don't know what they're, you download all your pictures. It's a picture frame thing. It goes through and all that. That picture popped up on the picture frame, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table and saw it across the room. I turned to my wife and go, "Look how short I look next to Tom." That's what I think of when I see that picture. That's an iconic picture for me because I'm with Tom and Bill.
Yeah, Tom and Bill, you're number two. And I see that's a 7 behind you with your Patriot shirt. Is that right? Behind you?
That is a Buffalo shirt. Buffalo jersey. I
can't even see what that
There's Tom as Batman, so I can be Robin. Usually I had Drew Brees. Drew Brees was on there as Robin for quite a while.
Yeah. This photo, Belichick's there, your coach. Tell me everything about him as a coach, and what did you learn from him?
I was 40. I retired at 43, so I'm 43 years old, and I was still scared of him. I was still afraid to open my mouth. I remember, Bill was great. Bill, no stone unturned type of guy, goes down the hallway. His head is down because he's thinking about something. His girlfriend later, girlfriend Linda really brought him out of his shell quite a bit, socially for the team and parties and things of that nature. But he's always in it. You never know what he's thinking. But my biggest fear was I'm just a backup quarterback. I don't want to screw up. And we're playing in Pittsburgh and I'm standing on the sideline doing nothing. I got the pom-poms out rooting for Tom. Just win me a Super Bowl, Tommy. And there was a long play down the sideline and I'm looking back. And the receiver's going, and the referee's running out, and bang, he bumps me. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm in the white. And he reaches for a flag. And he looks back, he sees it's me, he shakes his head at me, and just keeps going, didn't throw a flag on the play. And all I could think about until we watched game film 24 hours later was, what is Bill going to say to me? Bill's going to say, he saw it. He's like, and this is Bill, it would be like, Flutie, we got you on the sideline. We're not letting you on the field. Can we put you further away? Should you stay on the bench or should we just leave you in the locker room? I mean, and I can hear this in my head. I'm so paranoid that he's going to give me crap. But that's what, he made everyone, even the best, most veteran players, Tom, Teddy Bruschi, he would put the guys on the spot. Come in on a Wednesday morning meeting. You better have gone over your game plan. Understand coverage, what do they do? What are their change-up coverages, things of that nature? Because he was not afraid to call people out, put them on the spot. He didn't care if you were Tom Brady or Matt Castle. He was going to put you on the spot. You better be prepared. He put a little fear in, and a lot of coaches won't do that because, these guys are multimillionaires, superstars, and they don't want to embarrass them in front of the team.
Right.
Sure. Bill would do it.
Yeah. The drop kick. What was that?
There's a whole story that goes with the drop kick.
Yeah, take me back to that moment. You decided to do a drop.
That was originally. I've always messed around drop kick. Mike Vanderjagt, our kicker in Toronto. Yeah. Mike and I used to drop kick all the time, messing around. And when he played in Indianapolis and I was in Buffalo, anytime we play against each other, we got on the field early and do the same routine, messing around drop kicking. Well, Chris Berman had seen us doing this. He was doing interviews that week, went in and told Bill Belichick, Flutie can drop kick. He researched it. He goes, hasn't been done since 1941.
Jeez.
This guy scooters somebody.
Yeah.
And he gets in Belichick's ear. Belichick calls me in the office. I think I'm going to get cut or I don't know.
You're scared. You're scared of him. Yeah.
I'm 106 years old, right? I'm just hanging out.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, and he and Chris Berman were actually in the office together and brought it up. And I'm like, he said, is it legal? I go, yeah, it's still legal. Work on it. We're going to practice it tomorrow. And that's how it all got going. Now, we were going to do it on a Monday night against the Jets, but he put me in at quarterback. It was at the end of the game. We're up by a couple scores, got a couple first downs. The drive stalls out on the edge of field goal. He wanted to do it as a field goal. So it ended up not happening that night. We forgot about it for 2 weeks, didn't even talk about it. And then in the spur of the moment against Miami in a meaningless game, we were about to score a touchdown towards the end. I just happened to be standing there, Bill, and he saw me. He goes, kick it.
What?
I'm like, are you serious? I'm 43 years old, right? Stiff as a board, been standing there for 4 hours. It's 20 degrees. I got my hand in. I go like, are you serious? Really?
We're doing this.
I ripped the pouch off. And I go, yeah, go kick it. Anyway.
Oh, it was so fun, man.
Flex.
I know.
What a flex just be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you did it. And are you surprised? Yeah. Are you surprised he didn't make it to the Hall of Fame?
Who, Bill?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is jealousy. That is holding grudges. And what was great was Jimmy Johnson came out and said, it's because of Spygate and the Deflategate, all that stuff. First of all, Deflategate didn't happen. You pump the balls up in a locker room in 74 degrees and you take them out in 30 degrees and they lose a little air pressure. It's not a big deal one way or the other. In fact, once they put a little air in the ball, he threw it much better in the second half.
Yeah.
He threw more spirals. He underthrew some balls in the first half. I don't know, it probably had nothing to do with the air, but just in general, he had a better second half than he did first half. And the other, Jimmy Johnson says, we were all trying to steal signs back then. We're all trying to find a way. We just weren't good at it.
Right.
They were good at it.
Yeah.
And that's, you try to mesh up a TV version with a video and a play call and, in baseball, and I still play adult league, but you're stealing each other's signs all the time. The runner at second base is signaling, but now it's a politically correct world. Oh, that's not sportsmanlike. Screw that.
Right.
We're trying to win.
Yeah.
I had players wearing track spikes on artificial turf. Guys in Edmonton were putting studs in the bottom of their shoes and running double move routes on snow against guys falling down. It goes back to in the 70s, Montreal had some kind of snow game where they put tacks in their shoes and won 70 something. And you do whatever it takes. And then you get caught, you get a 15-yard penalty, and then you deal with it.
Yeah, I hope he gets in. I hope one day that happens.
It will. But this is what bugs me more than anything about that is if someday he gets voted in, what is it? Why wasn't he voted in now? Why did they wait? What is the deal with being really hard on people because it's the first time or first ballot? Or I don't get that
I get
whole
it.
thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, and it's good. I like the emotions because it's true. You worked with him for so long and you learned so much from him. And even that photo with you guys and Tom Brady, it's just, he's the team. He's the family, right? And so I get that emotions with it. And even in this photo with Tom Brady, I'm curious to know, what was it like meeting him for the first time?
Tom, I crossed paths with Tom a number of times before I joined the Patriots. And in fact, Tom and Troy Brown were kind of sort of instrumental. They put the bug in Bill's ear, let me put it that way, to get me to New England.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool.
That is neat, yeah.
One of the coolest things was at Christmas time, I left Tom Natick High. My high school was Natick High School in the Boston area. And I left him a Natick Redmond sweatshirt, as a gift or whatever, and a couple of things. And Tom opened it up, took a picture and posted the picture. And it went like AP and all of him in the Redmond shirt. And the high school kids loved it. Yeah. Tom, to me, was a great athlete. He was an intellectual that played football. Perfect example of the Tom would read who reads a book in a locker room? Nobody does that. You don't. He would make guys feel like you were the reason we want. If it was a guy on practice roster or a guy getting his ankles taped in the training room, hey, you gave us a great look yesterday in scout team. We need that again. They're really physical at the line of scrimmage. So he really had a knack for making everyone feel a part. And I was a backup quarterback that played minimal snaps that year. And he did the same with me, like in meetings, when I'd have an idea or something, he really tried to make you feel a part of it. And he was just great at that. He's a cerebral guy. He's buttoned up. We would get in there at 6 a.m. to get to the weight room for an hour or whatever before our first meeting and breakfast. And I'd roll out of bed at 5:30, throw my sweats on, no shoes, get there and get to the Tom is immaculate at 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
He's so handsome.
He's got pashmina around his neck. That's Tom. He's buttoned up.
He sounds like a good coach. I think he would make a great coach one day, no?
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
And, you hear him speak. He's polished. I'm off the cuff. He's polished. I love him. I'm off the cuff. He's polished. I love him.